Hi, I'm Lady Charmaine, and welcome to the Lady Charmaine Live Show. And I got another great interview for you. I'm really excited. Want to know why? Because we from the same place. My guest today is a model turned producer. He went from Sean John billboards to producing for the big screen. His work includes television shows like The Ultimate Hustler, Growing Up Hip Hop franchise, along with movies like Dysfunctional Friends and Video Girl. He is here today to talk about the movie that's starring Megan Good and Omari Hardwick, A Boy, a Girl, a Dream. Help me welcome to the Lady Charmaine Live Show, Mr. Datari Turner. Welcome.
Hey, welcome. Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Well, I'm really excited because, y'all, we were chopping it up right before the interview started. Come to find out, we from the same city and we actually grew up 2 blocks away from each other. Who would have thunk it, Datari?
Yeah, it's a small world. It's a great way
Very,
to
very small
connect like that.
world. I know, very small world. Because I was just telling him, everybody, because y'all want to know, I was telling him before the break, it's like I knew his name, but I didn't know where I knew his name from. And then when we found out we grew up basically 2 blocks from each other, see, that's why I knew his name. So we must have been connected some kind of way from the hood that we are from. So again, congratulations. And I want to say congratulations to you on all of the success that you have had. I'm so proud of you, and especially to know that you're from my city. So I'm really excited about that.
Thank you. That means a lot. I definitely appreciate it.
You're so welcome. So now you went from the streets of Richmond and Oakland, and you went on to becoming a supermodel with your cute self. So I wanted to know, Datari, when did you start modeling? Were you discovered? Did you start in the Bay Area, like in San Francisco? How did you get into modeling first?
Yeah. Well, I was a freshman in college, and
Hmm.
I was back on break, and was in San Francisco with some of my friends, and this model scout. This doesn't happen today because of social media. I mean, it's not literally 20 years ago, but I had a scout, a lady, come up to me, and asked me to sign up for this thing competition search called Face Finders.
Mm.
And I thought it was a joke. I never had any aspirations of being in the entertainment business, not even, as a writer producer, in what I do now. But she asked me to sign up, and I was like, as a joke, I said, well, I'll sign up, but you got to let all of my boys sign up as well. And she looked a little thrown back by that because some of my boys were, they were all football players. I played football
Hmm.
my whole life up until, at that point. So she let all my friends sign up. Some of them were 6'5", 300 pounds. So that's why
Wow.
she didn't really get it. But she called me back that night. It was like, you really got a great look. I knew you wouldn't have signed up if I didn't let your friends sign up. Or would you come back by yourself next week? I really think you have a great look. So make a long story longer or rather shorter. I came back and ended up winning I guess the best regional face in my
Mm.
division. I went to Palm Springs. I won the best face in California, and then went to New
Okay.
York and won the whole thing. And so, the Ford modeling agency signed me, right there, after that, and that's sort of how I began my foray into fashion.
You know what's so funny, Datari? I used to get approached all the time in the Bay Area. I always thought those things were hoax, so I would never go for them. And now you make me feel bad. I think I missed out on a couple opportunities in my lifetime. I mean, I get that. I'm a little older now. I'm almost 50.
Yeah,
So, so I mean, I ever get that one
I
again.
mean it's you never knew. I mean, I think at that time, a lot of people didn't really, because I was sort of like a bigger kid.
Hmm.
I was an athlete my whole life. I didn't really feel like, I just sort of blew it off. I didn't think it was anything, because again, I never thought that I could, you know, somebody, I thought it was a joke, but it did turn out to be real, and it literally changed the whole course of the trajectory of my life. So I'm definitely grateful for that foray into entertainment.
Now, I read something. I read an article regarding you, and you had said, as a black man in the fashion industry, it's a woman-dominated industry. So women make 10 times more than guys. Even if you're a male supermodel, you're probably making about 500,000 a year. And you said, I know women who aren't even considered supermodels making millions of dollars every year because they work every day around the world. So are you saying that men in the modeling industry experience the same pay discrimination as women do in the corporate world?
Hey, absolutely, absolutely. I mean, and
Okay.
that's fine.
Uh huh.
That's totally fine. I mean, I'm all for women empowerment. I think of the close to 30 films that I've produced. A lot of them, are there's very strong female characters. At the center in the
Hmm.
lead. So I'm definitely all for that, and it's great that women do dominate the fashion industry. I mean, women buy more clothes than men do,
Hmm.
so it's only right. But I remember being on shooting Tommy Hilfiger, and I was at the time I was shooting it with Joy Bryant, who's also now an really established actress, but she was a model at that time, and Rebecca Romaine. I think I was making maybe about 10,000 a day, and Joy was making 20,000 a day, and Rebecca was making close to I think she made $1 million for the campaign. So it definitely is. Women get paid a lot more than guys.
I think that's quite a bit more. What you think? 500,000. That's like half of your paycheck. And then all of a sudden, you ended up stopping. You're a supermodel because we're going to tell a little bit about your story so people can actually know how you got to where you are today. And we're going to be talking about your film, A Boy, a Girl, a Dream. So I want people to know a little bit more about you. And I wanted to know, why did you stop? Because I read that you said in 2003 that you were dead broke. And you said just before 2002, you lived in a $5,000 a month doorman building in New York City. You also had a Range Rover on Dubs. You also had 3 billboards in New York City, LA. You had Sean John, Hilfiger, and Banana Republic. And a year later, you were broke. So I want to know what happened.
Well, just overextending myself. I think, when you come from very humble beginnings, my parents have been married for 40 years. I come from a really good family. We didn't have, money, but, we lived in a house, and
Hmm.
both of my parents had a car, and, but they were just hardworking parents. My mother's still, she's on the school board today, and my dad works for the government. But, they didn't know once I started making what I thought was a lot of money at that back then, they didn't, all your parents always just say is to to invest it, and put it in stocks and stuff
Hmm.
like that. But what you felt with I had learned to realize, I was a young kid at that point, and but like even a lot of athletes that have these $70 million contracts and go broke,
Hmm.
it's not from buying cars. I mean, and jewelry, because if you're making that much money, you can't go broke from buying cars and jewelry. It's really from money managers ripping them off,
Mm.
and giving people power of attorney to invest your money in things that like even investing in real estate. If it's the wrong real estate, you can lose all of your money. It's not, stocks as well. So the stock market, if you remember in 2002, 2001, because I lived in New York City during 9/11 when it happened. I saw it happen in person.
Oh.
The stock market collapsed right after that. So all of these companies like WorldCom and Enron and Kmart and all
Hmm.
these
Hmm.
companies were going filing for bankruptcy
Hmm.
and going, belly up. And so, I thought I was doing the right thing. I had got a money manager. I had, a person that was investing my money in the stocks, but a lot of the companies that I invested in, even Kmart being one of them, they did a restructuring, and everybody who owned stock in Kmart and companies like that at that time literally was left penniless. Like the stock
Mm.
is worthless, and so I lost close to $200,000 in bad investments, and I definitely was overextending myself in a lot of ways too, but it was something I needed to learn. I mean, I was at that point, I want to say, I was around 22, 23 years
Hmm.
old. And, I thought that, I was doing some of the right things, but, I definitely had to learn the hard way, and made some tough mistakes.
And then I also read that you said at this particular time, if this would not have happened to you, you would not be where you are today. Because through this time, I think within a 7 year period, you had wrote a movie called Video Girl. Did you wrote it like in one night or in one day?
No, no. So I was living in New York. I mean, my thing, I was doing really well in the fashion business. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, the campaign that sort of like launched my career was a campaign I did for Abercrombie and Fitch when I was 19, and it was a really big campaign at the time because they weren't using many people of color at that time.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, a photographer named Bruce Weber who also discovered Tyson is one of the most iconic photographers in our business. He shoots for everything from Ralph Lauren to you know, Abercrombie to
Mm-hmm.
Versace. Yeah, he does everything. He that was sort of what launched my career, and then I was a leading man in a couple of really big videos like the Escape video, My Little Secret, and you know, I was in a number of videos, and so, but I felt like I was sort of hitting a ceiling in that business where, you know, I had done a lot of really big campaigns, the Banana Republics and Hilfigers and Chaps, Ralph Lauren, and you know,
Mm.
I was in a bunch of the Sean John ads with Puff. But I mean, I couldn't see myself being a model at 40 years old. You know, my parents. One of the things you know, I always thought about a lot was what my life was going to look like when I was 30, what my life was going to look like when I was 40.
Mm.
And because I am from, you know, very humble beginnings, growing up in Richmond and
Mm-hmm.
Oakland, a lot of the things I never really like appreciated the fashion business when I was in it. I mean, to be honest, I thought it was corny.
Really?
You know, like when I was in it, I really didn't understand why people were paying me so much money to take pictures. Like I sort of was really paranoid about it, and I would a lot of times, you know, I would, you know, be on my way to a set, and I would be like, this is the day that everybody on the set is gonna, you know, I guess realize that like, you know, why are they paying me this much money to take photos? Because I never was a person that was really into my looks growing up. I was
Mm-hmm.
just an athlete. You know, I was a popular kid, obviously, because you know, I felt it was because I played sports and acted. You know, I was, you know, I guess just a popular person, but I never was a person that like thought about my looks with things, and so around that time, as you know, 9/11 happened, and you know, I moved out. I moved to Jersey, to
Mm.
Hoboken.
Mm-hmm.
You know, right after 9/11, and then we had the anthrax scare. You know, in Jersey at that time. I mean, there's just a lot going on, and it was really making me like it was just a lot of heartache and you know, because of what happened in New York at that time, and then the stock market collapsed. I just started thinking about my future, and I was just like, do I really want to? I just couldn't see myself going to going to auditions or you know having to like live out of a suitcase traveling around the world. You know, once I got older, so I just started thinking about what else I loved
Mm-hmm.
as a kid outside of sports, and the only other thing that I really had a passion for was movies. But
Mm.
still, growing up in a place like Richmond, California, you know, even though the Bay Area is only 6 hours from LA, I
Mm-hmm.
mean, you know, Hollywood might as well have been in Dubai. Like it just didn't seem
Right.
like it was something that was really realistic, you know, for me. But you know, as I started, I was going through sort of a depression. I was living
Mm.
in you know, I was living in Jersey and sort of wasn't leaving the house a lot, and you know, and so I
Oh.
just was watching movies all day, and then you know, I thought I was like, who writes these films and who puts these films together? Just started doing a lot of research
Mm-hmm.
on movies, and I bought a book called Save the Cat, which was a screenwriting book that basically taught you how to like structure a screenplay into three acts. And I bought another book called Writing Treatments That Failed. And it told me the first thing it told me was to write about something that I knew if I was going to attempt to write a screenplay. And so that was sort of how Video Girl came about. I was a leading man in a bunch of videos like the Fantasia, Truth Is video,
Mm-hmm.
and Ciara and I, and so and then through doing some music videos, I met a lot of music video girls, and I just that was sort of like you know I took sort of a lot of you know a lot of stories I had knew and what different girls went through and sort of combined them into one person and wrote Video Girl in 11 days, the first draft of the script.
Wow. And then look where you are today because from there, doors have opened for you. You also produced the show Ultimate Hustler with Dame Dash and also Lisa McCoy's The Real McCoy. And then you started a successful franchise that's on right now, which is Growing Up Hip Hop. What was your vision behind Growing Up Hip Hop franchise? Was it for us to get to know the children behind the hip hop artists? Why did you feel this story was so important?
Well, everything with me, like my mission statement in life is just, to do things that are positive, and I think our responsibility as filmmakers and artists, like I always tell people, making movies and TV shows is not brain surgery, but we we do have a big responsibility. The images that we put on screen, kids see those, are impressionable, especially at young ages. And when you really think about the way people of color, the way, the images of us, over the past 100 years, a lot of these stereotypes have been, put on screen, because people that live in, Sweden and Russia and all these places around the world, in Greece, they some of these people have never even met black people, but so they get their impressions of us by watching films. And like 80, for 80 years, white men told, black people's stories. They did. Just imagine if somebody only told the three to four worst things about you. Like if you looked at took every human being on the planet and you only told the three worst things about them, but never told the 100 great things about them, anybody can look bad. So for 80 years, we were portrayed as, criminals and drug dealers and pimps. And that's really how the world, got this image about us as being dangerous. People really, it's just been the last 20 years where we've been able to tell our own stories.
Right.
And give us layers as people. Now, with Black Panther, we kings and queens, but really, Growing Up Hip Hop came about because, when I was working with Damon Dash on Ultimate Hustler in 2005, him and Jay were, they were, in the middle of parting ways. But one of the things that, Damon said, he was like, when him and Jay started Rockefeller, they named their company after a dynasty, like a legacy white family. But they didn't know any black families that had that sort of a legacy because, Diddy was coming up at the same time they were. Russell hadn't had kids yet, hadn't been married yet to Kimora. And so, they didn't really know of any, families that had black families that had second and third and fourth generations of wealth. Now through hip hop, you got to see Diddy has kids now and Master P has kids and Salt and Pepper has kids and all of these hip hop icons now have, children, and some of their children even have children now. Angela Simmons just had a kid. So you get to sort of see through hip hop like these second and third generations of wealth. And I just thought, my parents always talked about legacy, and I just thought that was something that, we needed to put on screen, because my hope is that 10 years from now, maybe it'll be some young Asian kids or some, some young white kids that start a label. Maybe they name it after the Simmons, or they name it after the Millers, who, in the same way that Dame and Jay named their company after the Rockefellers. So, it's all about black excellence and it's all about legacy. And that's what made me want to, create a show like that. I don't do things for monetary value. I mean, I have to really, I want to be responsible for the images that I put out there, and I really have to believe in the mission statement of what I'm doing. And that's just to be positive.
Well, that's what's up, as they say. That's what's up. And also, now you have a critically acclaimed one take film, A Girl, a Boy, a Dream, that premiered at Sundance Film Festival in January. And it also premiered last night in the San Francisco Film Festival. And also, we will be, I think, premiering on Friday as well. So, how did the screening go last night? Let's talk about that real quick. How did it go last night?
It went really incredible. I mean, it's always great to be back in the Bay where I get to see my mom and dad and my childhood friends and my cousins and uncles and aunts, and it's always a blessing to get to see the family. I had a lot of people came. I think we had like 25 people that
Wow.
came out. On my end, that were just family and friends, and it was a celebration. I mean, I come from humble beginnings. I'm a person of, I'm a people's person. I'm a family person, and the screening was packed. I mean, it was a really great turnout,
Mhm.
and the crowd was really diverse, and yeah, it was just great. It's always great to be back in the Bay Area. Where it all started for me.
Now, I got a chance to screen the film. Thank you so much for sending me the screener. And I want to tell you that Megan Good and Omari Hardwick, they are phenomenal actors. Now, I've seen their work. I've seen Omari, of course, in Power.
Electric.
Yes. And I'm telling you, when you can exemplify emotion on a screen without saying words, their facial expressions, you knew what they were saying without them having to say a word. Their silence, even in the car, was powerful. And I'm gonna tell you, their acting classes did them some good jobs. Whatever they studied in acting, it all paid off in this film because you felt the emotion without them even speaking most of the time. Powerful. That's all. That's all I want to
Well,
say.
Megan is a long time collaborator and sort of like my producing partner. I
Hmm.
mean, we made 5 movies together: Video Girl, Dysfunctional Friends, Love, A Girl Like Grace, and this makes number 5. So, she was a person that really believed in me, as a writer when I was first starting out with Video Girl, and as a person of a man of faith and loyalty and integrity, I felt in I feel indebted to her for just giving me that opportunity, and signing on to do a film, with a first time writer, and I'm forever grateful for that. And Omari's a longtime friend of mine as well. He was in a previous film of mine, and it's always great to work with friends. I mean, I think Omari is one of the most underrated actors of his generation, and I think Megan is too. And Kasim, who's a really great talent. We have been talking about collaborating for the last 6 years. We met through Ava DuVernay at a dinner that she put together at Sundance in 2012. I was there with a film called Love with Common and Megan and Danny Glover, a bunch of people, and Ava was there with Middle of Nowhere. And Kasim and I met at that dinner, and we just kept in contact over the last 6 years. And he called me. He called me about the project when it was just a treatment. It wasn't even a
Mm.
script yet. And the thing that drew me to it was just a challenge. He always knew he wanted to make it and shoot the film in one take. And I was really, really inspired by that. And really, I love challenges. I think being a filmmaker and a producer and having produced so many films, I always try to want to challenge myself to do something differently. And that was initially what drew me to it, the challenge of shooting it in all in one take, but
That's a challenge.
also, wanting to do a great love story. And, because at the end of the day, the thing that every human being, no matter what race you are, no matter, what gender you are, we all are dealing with love on a daily basis. Every single human on this planet, whether you are looking for love, wanting to be validated by love, falling out of love, falling in love, you know, so like I said, searching for love and or just trying to fight to save your love. Like everything is about love. And so, we wanted to do something fresh in the romance genre. And then the other thing that really drew me to the project, besides working with immensely talented people, was that, I read an article in the Washington Post that talked about only 13% of the people, only 13% of people in the entire world love what they do. If you Google this on, if you Google like, what percentage of people love what they do, like there's an article that popped up in the Washington Post. You can read the article, but it literally said only 13% of people love what they do. And I thought that was really like, I thought that was sad, because we
Mm-hmm.
all have one life. And then I started analyzing it on like how this happens. And when I started to take a deeper dive into that, it really sort of made sense because, so many people every year move to the Bay Area, move to
Mm-hmm.
LA or New York with big dreams. And, if the dream doesn't happen in the amount of time that they gave themselves to accomplish it, sometimes real life sets in. You got to get a job now. You got to pay bills. You may
Mm-hmm.
even meet someone and get married or have kids, and 5 years later, life goes by fast. You look up in 5 years and you're just on a hamster wheel of life, just trying
Mm-hmm.
to make a living, and you're no longer pursuing that thing that
Mm-hmm.
were so, excited about 5 years ago. So that really struck a chord with me. And the film is about, love and hope and faith and dreams, and, the things that, you know, I mean, you can be alive but not be alive as a human. Those are the
Mm-hmm.
things
Mm-hmm.
that,
Mm-hmm.
we're every day like that, having faith, being in love and having dreams. That's the things that, keep us, excited about life. So
Absolutely.
those are the reasons why, we made the film.
I like that, being alive, but not actually living. Because we have a lot of people who are just existing, but they're not really living in life. And I'm glad that I love what I do. So I'm one of those 13%. I love what I do. So I'm really happy about that. So tell us, when will the film
That's a
be?
blessing.
Thank you. Amen. God good. So let us know when the film will be in theaters.
Yeah, so we just signed our distribution deal
Okay.
last week with Samuel Goldwyn Studios. The film is going to be released theatrically in 20 cities to start off with, and if
Mm-hmm.
it does really well, then it'll expand from there. We'll be announcing a release date, I want to say, in the next couple of weeks. But it'll definitely be in theaters, and I'm so proud of all of the people involved with the film. It was truly a collaborative effort, and just Omar. I feel like our cast right now is just, they have a lot of attention on them. With
Mm-hmm.
Omari being on Power, which is
Mm-hmm.
the second highest rated show on
Mm-hmm.
all the cable, only behind Game of Thrones, and Jay Ellis being on, being the co-lead on Insecure, which is a cultural phenomenon, and even Megan Good, she's shooting a movie for DC Comics right now in Atlanta. Our cast is just really incredible, and just even people like Kenya Barris being able to come do a cameo, who created Blackish and Grownish and wrote Girls Trip. So just a lot of people that really mean a lot right now in our culture. Really excited about this project.
So now that we know we have this one under your belt, what's next for you?
Well, right now, I mean, season four, Growing Up Hip Hop is
Mm-hmm.
coming back.
Mm-hmm.
Really excited about that. We just got greenlit for season three of Growing Up Hip Hop Atlanta.
All right.
I'm also in production on a series for Showtime right now. I'm executive producer with LeBron James on the
Okay.
history of the NBA,
Okay.
and just got a really exciting projects coming down the pipeline. I'm in post production on another film called Same Difference, which has a really great cast: Terrence J, Essence
Mm.
Atkins, who's on Marlon,
Mm-hmm.
Demetrius Shipp Jr., who played Tupac in the Tupac biopic.
Okay.
So I got a lot of great projects I'm working on. Definitely go to DatariTurnerProductions.com, or go to IMDb, or follow me on social media at Datari Turner on Twitter and Instagram to keep up with some of the cool things that I'm blessed to be a part of.
Now that is really a blessing. When you're busy and God is opening up doors, I think that's amazing. And I'm just so proud of you because you're from Richmond. I'm just so happy. Y'all don't even know. You from Richmond, y'all. I love my city. But anyway, I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of you, Datari. You making us look
Thank
good.
you.
You're welcome. And I want to make sure
No,
that, go ahead.
I'm excited. I'm excited to talk to you. Town business in the house. So thank you
Absolutely.
for taking the time for interviewing me and taking the time. It means a lot to me.
Absolutely. And if you're anywhere in San Francisco, make sure you go online to sffilm.org so you can check out the film. I believe it's on Friday. And I think you said Quasim is going to be there on Friday?
He is.
Yes.
He will be there. So you guys go check the film out, show him some love. I promise you won't be disappointed. It's a really, really. I'm not just saying that because I'm, the producer of the film, but I
Hmm.
think you will really get something out of the film. It's really positive and it'll make you think. So
Amen. And again, get your
y'all
tickets.
go show him some love on Friday.
Yes.
Let's do
Go
it.
get your tickets at sffilm.org right there in San Francisco. The film festival lasts from April 4th through the 17th. So make sure you guys go on down there. And again, thank you so much, Datari. We definitely wish you the best of luck. And we want to make sure that everybody go see the film. As he said earlier, it's going to open up in about 20 cities. And it is called A Boy, a Girl, and a Dream. Well, not and a dream, but just a dream. So, and again, thank you so much,
And
Datari.
I
Go
have
ahead.
to come back too. I have to come back the week that maybe the film open is coming out. I have to come back and visit you guys.
Absolutely. So, well, you got my digits. So just give me a call. So just give me a call. Would love to hear from you. And again, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you.
You're
I'll talk to you
welcome.
guys soon.
Okay.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
Bye.
And again, make sure you go online, go and get your tickets at sffilm.org to make sure you check out A Girl, a Boy, a Dream this Friday. Quasim is going to be there. So I believe he's going to be doing a Q&A. So I want to make sure that everybody go ahead and check that out. And this portion of the Lady Charmaine Live Show is sponsored by Up and Away Travel Services. Just go to upandawaytravelservices.com to book your vacation today or give Sherry Brockman a call at 916-826-6606. And do not forget to follow me right there on Facebook. There's all the information. And join our Hot Topics Real Talk No Chaser group. And again, thank you so much for tuning in to the Lady Charmaine Live Show.